Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and this Nerd Corner episode, we are going to be talking about the New Mutants that has finally been released after like 3 years. It started production back in 2017 and has now been finally shown at the end of August here in 2020. I am super stoked at the fact that I've even been able to go to the theater and watch a movie after all this crazy shit that's happened this year. So I might be a little biased with my review on how good the New Mutants was, but I think in general it was actually still a really good movie, despite the fact that I am so stoked to just be in the theaters in general. So on September 1st, the wife and the kids and I went to go see it at the local Cineplex theaters. We ordered our tickets beforehand and we're crossing our fingers that they wouldn't cancel the release date and that the theater would actually be playing it. So we went to the concession stands, got some popcorn and some nachos and some hot dogs, just to get ready to, enjoy our movie and have some snacks meanwhile while it's going on. So anyways, all that aside, what did I think of New Mutants? It was, like I said, a really, really good movie. Kind of a bittersweet end to the Fox line of X-Men films. This was apparently supposed to be a eventual trilogy of New Mutant films, and this was just supposed to be the beginning. And there was some things about the movie that definitely showed that there was kind of an impending doom going on in that company and that there was a merger and all this other stuff. I feel that there could have been at least a half an hour more in this film. There's a few backstories that really get the rush treatment. You're teased really quickly with something that happens with a couple of the characters that isn't really allowed the time to be fleshed out fully and in depth. The character building happens pretty quick and the plot moves along equally as quickly. At the beginning, you have the main character, Moonstar, getting woken up suddenly out of her bed, being dragged out of her village by her father, and something tearing the entire place asunder. Then he's ripped out of her arms as they go to say goodbye, and he tells her to stay safe or whatever, and all of a sudden his body drops to the ground, dead, and the next scene cuts to her kind of coming to at the asylum, and the doctor explaining, your whole village was wiped out, all your people are gone, sorry to say you're the last survivor, you are at a mental health facility to gauge your powers and see if you're going to be able to be rehabilitated and let go into society without harming yourself or others. And then that's when the story kicks off. She's eventually introduced to the rest of the 4 or 5 other kids that are in the asylum, which was another thing that was a little odd to the wife and I. Considering the size of this asylum, there definitely should have been more characters, more casts, more just side background people in general. We thought that even though there was already a quick runtime and there could have been more fleshed out with the backgrounds of everything, we still felt like there maybe should have been 2 or 3 extra characters in the room there. I don't know what mutants or X-Men that would fit well with the group that you had there already, but it just felt like there needed to be a couple more characters for the main plot in general, and for how big the asylum was, more caretakers, janitors, guards, nurses, and helpers, assistants, and whatever, as well as just maybe a couple or 10 other inmates or patients like the group that you meet in here that maybe isn't the focus of the story but are also in there now and then, that you see in the background being carted off on gurneys or escorted by other nurses or doctors. It's kind of weird that it's just those 5 or 6 main characters and the one doctor throughout the entire movie at that asylum. So that part was weird, but with the restraints that I think that the writer and director and studio was giving the movie in general, and everything probably being told to wrap up quick because this merger's happening, we just need to get this movie done and finished, it did what it needed to do. It accomplished the goal. The plot and characters did evolve and go through their little arc well, and there's not really too much to complain. This movie is basically the equivalent of a really scrumptious, teeny slice of strawberry cheesecake. It's great. You loved it. Everything about it was good, but it was too small. It was over too quickly, and you just wanted more. That's basically my take on this film. It was good. There's a lot of elements that I liked, but I still feel like I'm missing out on way more of that cheesecake. You know what I mean? Like, I want a big fat ass fat kid size slice of cheesecake. And the other two films that we would have got in the supposed trilogy probably would have filled out more of this backstory, probably would have filled out a lot more arcs of these characters and where they're going and where they came from. Cotton Eye Joe. So, yeah, needless to say, I felt the movie was good. I really hope that when it comes out on DVD that there's a fuck ton of bonus features and making of, and maybe some bonus scenes. There was rumors and talks of potentially having rewrites and reshoots and this and that going on with this film. Some director or head of directors or whatever saw the film in the testings, I guess, and said they wanted to cut out some of the horror movie aspects and replace it with something else. I don't know what. But then I heard after that Kevin Feige or whoever was in control of the movie after the merger happened said, no, we love the horror aspects, keep that in and make it even more freaky and scary. So I don't know. I feel like there's a whole lot more footage on the cutting room floor that could be whittled into this movie, could be jammed in and spliced in, and some bonus content is almost eventual. I think there's going to be some bonus content on the Blu-ray when it comes out, and I'm crossing my fingers that there is, because there's so much more backstory to a couple of these characters that I love to hear and see. There's a lot more little bits and pieces with the Maisie Williams and Moonstar character that I would like to see fleshed out more, not just the lesbian scenes. Although those are nice. But no, it just seems like they could have added so much more to this movie, and you're getting teased. You're getting teased with what could have been there and what more story they could have added. Because I like the character arcs that happened. You got the typical jock trying to pretend that he's getting laid a lot and that he's like the swaggery, I get lots of chicks type of dude. You get the Mean Girls, fucking the Rachel McAdams character from Mean Girls. Anya Taylor-Joy plays a really good bitch character in it, like a really, I'm cooler than you, I'm this hot shit bitch kind of character in it. The Magic character has some interesting backstory that implies a couple of things that I don't want to really get into on this review, that could have been darker and alluding to more that probably could have been expanded upon. I'm not sure if they wanted to expand upon what her backstory kind of alludes to. They kind of hint at it, and you're left to kind of go, is this what they mean with her little nightmare sequences? So yeah, touching upon that, to the main character that you're introduced to at the beginning of it, Moonstar, has the ability to Freddy Krueger everyone, basically make their nightmares come to real life, and then they're like fighting off all these visions that's affecting them physically. Each one has to deal with a coming to terms with their worst fears type of scenario in the movie. Really, really cool, and it's very climactic, big ending with Moonstar's deepest fear, and they all have to battle said thing. I'm trying not to spoil it because I really want you guys to go see this, especially now that theaters are opening again. They need all your support and help that they can get, because they had almost an entire year of being shut down and not being able to show anything. So go support New Mutants, go to your local theater, go watch it, especially if you're a comic or horror nerd fan. It blends the elements back and forth pretty well. This is basically your kind of teen horror spooky thriller movie with X-Men and supernatural and mutant superhero elements mixed into it. I don't feel it was too scary. Like I said, I brought my 6 and 7-year-olds to the theater. I don't think either of them shrieked or screamed once. My oldest son, who's 7, he freaks out over any creepy or scary thing. He likes scary, spooky stuff, but at the same time, he also reacts crazily to it. And he sat still and enjoyed the whole movie, which is unusual for him. He normally would scream or yell or whatever about it. So it's obviously not that scary or creepy, but honestly, if you're an adult and you get creeped out or scared by horror movies anyways, I feel like that's kind of weird. You watch horror movies just to be kind of entertained and maybe felt a little uncomfortable or uneasy, but I don't think any mature adult actually gets afraid or scared by horror movies anymore at this age. I mean, let me know in the comment section if any horror movies still scare you, like legitly, but it doesn't me. So I don't know. But anyways, the horror elements are interesting. The very small, short backstory glimpses you get into these characters' pasts are interesting. The evil, creaturey things that pop up in the movie are cool. The effects are good. They're obviously CGI, but they're enjoyable CGI. It's not like the Black Panther and the Gold Panther falling down into that train thing bad. But yeah, anyways, the graphics are good. The scares aren't scary. They're interesting though. They are intriguing. And the powers are cool. Cannonball's powers where he blows up and turns into this like fiery comet thing is cool. Sunspot's powers are pretty cool, especially when he starts letting loose near the end and turning to this like shadowy black fiery thing. That's fucking cool. Magic's armored sword chi thing is awesome. She has like a couple of different styled chi swords, fire swords in the movie too. So I don't know if that's on purpose or they just forgot that it's supposed to look one way or the other. I don't know. And then this is a spoiler, so skip ahead like 30 seconds. But Lockheed, Magic's little puppet dinosaur pterodactyl thing, actually becomes a real dinosaur pterodactyl thing at the end and helps her fight the main bad guy. I would have loved to see more of that character as the actual pterodactyl thingy throughout the movie more. That was interesting. I wasn't expecting to have like this creature flying around the whole time and it turned into an actual mutant dinosaur thingy. I thought she was just having a security blanket hand puppet thing, but hey. So anyways, I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It's bittersweet that this was the last Fox kind of X-Men film. It's sad that we're not going to get that full trilogy, and if we're being real, this New Mutants cast of characters probably aren't making their way into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's probably the last we're going to see of those renditions of those characters. So I guess we're gonna have to wait until the Blu-ray comes out to see if we can get any more little bonus features or anything extra for the Fox universe and the New Mutants. But yes, really good. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed my time back at the theater. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie. If you've seen it, let me know if you plan on going and seeing it, and try to keep the comment section spoiler free if you plan on taking the time to comment. That's it for me. For Glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out.